For over 100 years, the story has been written, ever changing and growing with each new chapter. The soul remains, though the characters change. Bigger, faster, stronger, smarter.
Ready or not, here I come. You can't hide.
So too grows our fandom. Start miles ahead. The 2020 Prospect Encyclopedia. This September, available on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and Blitzalytics.com.
Okay, TA.
This the Carousel, the host Al Flemings. Came to lock the game like my name Val Demings. Fantasy and flavor, yeah. New edition. The intro to the show is brought by True Ambition. Round and round we go. Shouts out to Eric Wilson. Knowledge for your wins, all you gotta do is listen. Hungry for info, food for thought, got all your fixing. You know, FOO, value facts over opinion. 4-3-3-4, my defense beats our system. Injury report, winning while I'm grinning. Dominate the point of attack from the line of scrimmage. For long as you can't beat my squad, go gather all your minions. Carousel, 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 this the carousel. On or you're off, either you're on or you're off, either you're on or you're off. What? Knock 'em out.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Carousel. I'm your man, Eric Wilson, filling in for Mr. Alex Fleming here tonight. Originally, you know, I'm the guy on the back end taking care of things, but tonight, since my team's on a bye this week, I guess Alex figured he'd let me run the show this evening. We got a lot to get into before the Thursday night football game between the Green Bay Packers and the San Francisco 49ers. In my opinion, not much of a game, but I digress. There's still going to be a game tonight. I got a whole host of talent ready to talk here this evening. However, I've been talking to this man since about 4 o'clock this afternoon, and I've called him out a couple times. He's going to challenge me today, but I told him, as I told him in text, I want all the smoke. So, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to bring in Buffalo Bills beat reporter, WUFO on 96.5 up there in Buffalo. He is my brother, and I do love him, but I got to get on him today, Mr. Mookie Hawkins. Mookie, I told you I was coming for you, man. I want all the smoke tonight, brother. Let's get it started here, my sir. How are you, first and foremost?
I'm good. I'm good. You know what I mean? You know, we top dogs in the AFC East. You know what I mean? I'm all right.
Only took y'all 20 years to get there, but hey, you know, sometimes a broke clock is right twice a day. So, listen, Mookie, I am a supporter of the Buffalo Bills. You know that. My man Cam Newton is just not getting it done. And let me be the first to say, you, sir, when we met in March, you told me, Eric, watch what Buffalo does this year. And of course, I was a little skeptical, I have to admit. But then before Cam Newton showed up, I was like, yeah, Mookie's right. But then Cam showed up, and I was like, oh, I don't think so, Mookie. Hold on. But sitting right now, where you are currently at 6-2, I tip my hat to you, sir. You knew what the world was about to witness. But with all that being said, you got my cousin coming to see you this Sunday. You got Dangerous, my MVP, coming to Orchard Park today. Oh, and he brought his friends with him Tyler Lockett, and the man that can run down any defender in DK Metcalf. So I'm going to ask you the question that you've been asking all season long, Mookie, when you say when it comes to Buffalo, who got Diggs? Mookie. Who got DK? Come on now. Who got Metcalf?
Well, first of all, let me get it right because I don't want DK to go off because I did the presser yesterday with Coach Carroll, and you know me, I get to get in those rooms and I get to try to get my point across real quick, and I called him DJ Metcalf because I'm trying to, I'm talking about DJ Dallas on the same thing, and it slipped out and called him DJ Metcalf. So I'm scrolling down on Twitter, and I see DK Metcalf post, my name is not DJ Metcalf.
Oh, that brother was listening then. Come on now.
Yeah, I hope he don't, I put a little gas in his tank right there. But hey, we up for the challenge for that. You know what I mean? The Bills is, one of the best at it, I mean, it's a method to, Coach McDermott's madness, you know what I mean? So we didn't let Mahomes and the fast self Tyreek Hill do anything. I think you're going to get that kind of same game plan, but you got to be a little bit more aggressive with it. They can't just lay back and just, let Russ kill you underneath. Or, I mean, they got two guys that could blow the top off the defense.
Oh, yes.
So it's going to be a good match for, our pass defense. Hopefully we'll have Micah Hyde back. He didn't play last week due to the concussion. And, Levi Wallace, came back off his ankle injury. Tre'Davious White is still on deck. And, we just picked up Daryl Worley. So, I'm quite sure he'll be thrown in the sauce this week as well, to go along with Darren Lee, another fast hybrid guy that can cover. So, we can get Klein out of there a little bit. So hopefully, it'll be the same game plan, but just a little bit more aggressive to keep. We got to spy Russ. You got to spy Russ.
Oh, yeah. Because at any moment, his offensive line collapses. He's taken off. But the fact that he can still throw that deep ball and just place it in such a spot that only his wide receivers can go after it, Mookie, what kind of has me a little anxious and a little nervous for Buffalo is the fact that we have seen this team just be dominant for 3.5 quarters of a game. And it just seems like there's that point where Buffalo allows the game to become bigger than them. And I know that can't happen against Seattle. But what I also want to know from you is, how does Josh Allen, I know that's your boy, how does he look going into this game? Because, we're halfway through the season. And I wanted to pull up y'all's schedule, which I did. So, I'm looking at this and I'm saying to myself, okay, let's run this real quick. Aside from Seattle, you go to Arizona, and then you have your bye. With the exception of the Steelers, Mookie, after your bye week, y'all should, in my opinion, run the table. I got to know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, you want to win every game, it's just how the Bills lost those two games. And then they lost the two games to basically the rematch of the AFC Championship, those two teams. So it ain't like they lost to anybody else that was on their schedule. They lost to two worthy opponents. But what that tells you is, hey, Buffalo, these are the big boys, and then, this week they finally got over the hump with New England. So I think for the psyche-wise of, having the confidence to say, hey, we beat New England, I think that mantra kind of continues into this week. Like, it's just like, okay, it's Seattle. It's Seattle. Okay, everybody talk about Russell Wilson and DK and Tyler Lockett, but they don't have no running backs right now. Carlos Hyde is hurt. All their running backs is hurt. They down to DJ Dallas. That's why I asked, Coach Carroll that question: how valuable he is. Travis Homer might be able to play, but their defense ain't the greatest, even though they getting Jamal Adams back. They do like one of the worst in the leagues in passing yards. But they balance out. They balance out with the offense. They give up 28 points a game, but they lead in the league in points scored. You know what I mean? So it could be a gunfight at the OK Corral for all day long. I mean, you want to talk about Josh Allen? It's no problem with Josh Allen. It's just that he's finally getting his respect. And when I get a chance to talk to him, I ask him this. He's finally getting his respect. Now it's all about, at first it was about, oh, we're going to stack the box, let Josh beat us with his arm. It's not the case no more. Now it's all about, we got to get some DBs out there. And we can't let Josh beat us with his arm now. You know what I mean? So
All right. Marky, I got a question for you. We got a question coming in. So Metcalf or Lockett, which one is White going to cover on Sunday?
White is going to cover DK.
You think so? Okay. All right.
With DK, and see him on DK.
Got another one. With how Josh has played after week 4, is he shaken up from that shoulder injury?
No, Josh is a dog, man. That shoulder don't bother him damn bit. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That happened in that game, and you see what happened. He came right back out there, and he delivered. So that shows you the traits of a true franchise quarterback, how tough he is. You know what I mean? So he all right.
Okay, fair enough. Mookie, I appreciate the time, brother. Hey, as always, take your spotlight. Let everybody know where they can find you and holler at you.
Oh man, y'all can holler at me. My show is on Sundays at WFO. That's Power 96.5 www.power965radio.com. You can tap that app. You can listen to my crazy self all day long. WFO Sports 1080 on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Mookie Hawkins. Holler at your boy. Bills win this week.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna be calling you if they don't. I'm gonna be on the first thing. I'll be like, Mookie.
Shootout, baby. Look, it's gonna be a shootout.
Okay.
It's gonna come down to our defense stopping rush.
Fair enough. My man Mookie Hawkins. Make sure y'all check him out. This brother's on the rise doing big things, not only in Buffalo, but across the globe. So make sure y'all stay tuned. Appreciate your time, brother. One love. I'll talk soon.
Appreciate you.
All right. So that's how it is on the carousel. Either you on or you're off. Speaking of being on, ladies and gentlemen, I got to bring this young man to the stage very simply because he is the sole survivor, the last of the Mohicans, the only undefeated team in the NFL, sitting at 7-0, Mr. Daniel Baqueta. Daniel, hello, sir, and congratulations to you.
Hello, Eric. How are you doing? Thank you for that. Congratulations.
I'm very well. I'm very well. So, Daniel, as being the last team that has not suffered a loss yet, talk to me, sir. How are you feeling right now?
After we faced Baltimore, it was a close game. Came down to the last snap. Minka broke up the pass. And I was feeling kind of shaky during that time. I thought Lamar was going to make a big play. They made a big play earlier that reached them to our own territory. And I think that we're not there yet. We're not primary Super Bowl contenders. The Chiefs are looking phenomenal, as always. I think they're still better than us. Personally, from my opinion, I don't think we're still there, but we're getting there. Our offense is getting into pace, and we're facing the Cowboys next. So Ben might have a big day against the Cowboys because the defense isn't anything at all. It's garbage. And the offense, Garrett Gilbert is starting or Cooper Rush. And that's going to be a problem for them. Zeke isn't going to run anywhere. Zeke has been looking great this season based on what we've seen in the previous years. But yeah, I think we're still a top 5 team, top 3 team. I don't think we're number 1 because the Chiefs just run over through everyone. Our games are one possession games. It's close games. I want to see more so that I can tell really that we're in the fight for the Super Bowl.
Okay. So I got 2 questions for you, sir. My first question is, can you just talk about what Chase Claypool has meant to your team this year?
Chase Claypool was a surprise. Personally, I didn't want him. I wanted a running back in J.K. Dobbins, and he went to Baltimore because we weren't very confident in James Conner because he gets hurt a lot. And then we got Claypool, and I was like, okay, we got a receiver, and let's see how this goes. So we got Claypool. I didn't even expect a lot of things from him. I expected more from James Washington, who's not very well this season. He's okay at best, but Claypool has been eating guys up. 4 touchdown games against the Eagles. He got a touchdown against a great secondary against Baltimore. I think that he's gonna develop well. His impact has been great offensively. He's making big plays for us. I think he gets big plays in the sidelines. He's great in with his physicality and his size. He's a great route runner for him, and he's very very physical. He's fast. He's tall, and he's big. He's, what, 6'4"? He could play tight end.
Oh yeah, very true. So I want to go back to the Cowboys here, Daniel. Listen,
Yeah.
a lot of people, myself included, are like, okay, Pittsburgh's got this in the bag, but the Cowboys are 2-6, and sometimes when you don't have all of your weapons around you, the creative style of coaches, they have to come out and figure out some of these trick plays or gadget plays to kind of offset what the opponent is looking for. I know Mike Tomlin very well. I know he doesn't look past anybody. But from your standpoint, do you feel like Pittsburgh is looking past Dallas?
Well, we've seen we defeated the Giants. We've defeated everything. But going on to this week, there's a bit of a fear inside. We might take a step back and take a relax, and Cooper Rush or Guard Gilbert is just gonna take over us. No, but I don't think that our team is like that. We play every single down like it's the last snap of the game. We
Okay.
play like every down counts and every down matters. And I think we're gonna pull through. We are heavy favorites, but it might be a close game. We don't know, but I don't think it will be close. I'm just looking forward to TJ and Bud off the edges, making big plays and disrupt the quarterback like always. And let's see if Zach Martin can do whatever he's been doing the past couple years. I don't think he'll be doing it, but there's still a bit of the fear that we're gonna lose, but I don't think so.
Well, listen, as an Eagles fan, you have my support. I'm sure you have the rest of the NFC East support, and those who don't like Cowboys, you have all their support. So you have people behind the yellow and black this Sunday when you go up against quote unquote America's team in the Dallas Cowboys. Daniel, I always appreciate your time, sir. Please let the world know where they can find you.
Hello, everybody. You can find me on Facebook on my Facebook page, Some Steeler Fan, and you can also find me in a Facebook group called NFL Greatest Debate Room. I talk about football and communicate with other people there as well.
Carousel, either you're on or you're off.
Carousel, carousel, carousel. This the carousel. On or you're off. Either you're on or you're off. Either you're on or you're off. Knock 'em out. Carousel, carousel, carousel. This the carousel. On or you're off. Either you're on or you're off. Either you're on or you're off. Knock 'em out.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So let me go ahead and bring in a gentleman who he understands my pain because we are in the same division, but he always seems to have a positive outlook on how our division is going to fare. And as he is known to say, and we say it ourselves, it's a football world, and we just live in it. Mr. John Turner, welcome back, sir. You're out of jail. You're out of Facebook jail. You're back online. It's great seeing you. Love the sweatshirt, by the way. I got to get me one of them. So what's going on? Yep, you're muted, sir. There you go.
It's another great day, and yeah, I was pardoned, election year pardoned, early release from Facebook, hard time, and I don't know. I don't think it earned any brownie points for Donald Trump, but here we are. I can converse and correspond with all the greats out there, including yourself.
Well, thank you. Do me a favor, sir, because this has been a while since you've been on the carousel. I'm going to let you do your shout out first before we dive into the NFC least that you and I talk about, and of course, the Washington football team. But just take a moment, let everybody know where they can find you at.
Oh, just come on over to a football world discussion group right across the way there on Facebook. There's about 4,500 of us that goof off and mix it up on a daily basis. I'm talking high school, college, pro ball. I don't care if it's Canadian, American. If they're playing it on Mars, we're going to talk about it. And we get off topic sometimes too, and that's okay.
Always a pleasure. So, all right, let's talk about this right now. First things first, Ron Rivera, he rang the bell, his last cancer treatment. What's been the talk of the town now that this man is, he's back and his mind has never left the game of football, but he could kind of, for the time being, put cancer on the back burner and focus on the second half of this team?
Yeah. It takes a lot of energy to be a head coach in the NFL or college for that matter. I mean, are you ever really not working, and to have cancer treatments while being a head coach in the NFL while you're living in the year 2020 has got to be, I mean, he's got to be one of the most hardest working guys on the planet this year. And, I think the team's showing up for him a little bit extra, they're not playing with the same energy they played for Jay Gruden down the stretch last year. So they're probably hitting a little harder, running a little bit faster, and listening a little bit better. I think he commands quite a bit of respect and in that, in those meeting rooms and all that, and they see his dedication and work right in front of them. And how do you not work hard for a guy working as hard as he does?
Exactly. And that was my point exactly. Ron Rivera, I'd run through a wall for that man based on just what he was able to do in Carolina and now his time in Washington. But speaking of the team itself, do you have a sense of where your quarterback is? Who's it going to be? And moving forward, what's going to happen? Because I know there was talk at the trade deadline of possibly shopping Haskins somewhere else. Alex Smith, God love him, a true hero, a true warrior. But let's be honest, he's one illegal hit away from maybe not ever playing the game again. And then you also have I almost said Colt McCoy, but I don't even know if he's even still a part of your team. But so what's the sense of the whole quarterback position moving forward with the Washington football team?
Colt McCoy is playing under the Clapper offense.
Yes.
In New York now. So, good luck, Colt McCoy. If they decide to pull Daniel Jones, maybe we'll see some of the greatness that came out of Texas. There threw for a bajillion yards down there in college. But he's that poor guy who's drafted to the Browns, and your quarterback career just gets lost in the sauce,
Yeah.
But the quarterback situation here, Alex Smith's contract number goes from a dead cap number of $32 million this year to about 10 next year. And that's a cuttable number. Okay. So they'll probably release him before the league calendar year this offseason. So it's almost a guarantee. They would have probably reached an injury settlement with him, but he had this injury clause guarantee accelerator if that were to have happened. So it's just a waiting game, really. But I think he's played his last down here in Washington. I mean, you might see him take a knee or something like that at the end of the year. Who knows? But I think Kyle Allen is their guy right now. I don't know if he's the future. He's played one less game than Dwayne Haskins has this year, and he's got the same amount of touchdowns and 3 less interceptions. A 20 more rating high. Dwayne Haskins had like an 80.3 quarterback rating. Right now, Kyle Allen's at 99.9 or something like that. The completion percentage is 68% versus 61, I believe, is where Dwayne Haskins was, or 60.8. He can move around a little bit better than Dwayne Haskins can. And I think he just reads the playbook and just pays a little bit more attention and is probably a little bit more teachable than Dwayne Haskins. The mechanics, I'm not a mechanics expert, like my buddy over there at the QB1 mentality. But I can say that the same mechanical issues that that WalterFootball.com was describing about him coming out of Ohio State a year early, in their opinion, are the same mechanic problems that it appears he is having today. So either he's not listening or he gets a brain fart when the lights are on and it's time to step up, kind of like Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, when you need him the most, disappears sometimes, or quite often, which is why I was thrilled that some idiots out there decided to give it $84 million guaranteed money. Oh my God, they put themselves in purgatory.
Yeah.
But we don't have to deal with that here. So I'm good to go with the Kyle Allen route. And I am the only thing that's a little bit disappointing is that he's playing just well enough to knock the team out of the Trevor Lawrence and the Justin Fields sweepstakes. So maybe they play bad enough to get a guy like Trey Lance, but I don't think Ron Rivera cares much about draft positioning. He's looking to put together some W's. And what are you guys? You guys are 1.5 up on everybody in the division basically right now?
Basically right now. I mean, listen, we're sitting at 3-4-1. So yeah, that's where we're at.
So they're 2-5 in Washington, and Rivera's probably looking at that like, hey, we can catch these guys. We play them again later this year. If we can win a couple and they can lose a couple, we're right there. And yeah, sure, maybe the records don't say we're the greatest thing since sliced bread, but we can win this division. And if you take some of that momentum into the playoffs, you could win a game. And oh, by the way, everybody can make the division, the playoffs now, because I hear they're talking about maybe adding an 8th team to each conference if in the event that they don't complete week 17. So Washington, the NFC East could send 3 teams into the playoffs if that's the case, right?
I mean, listen, it's 2020. Anything is possible. Mr. Turner, I got to ask you one last question before I let you get out of here. And again, thank you for being on the carousel. So you are playing the Giants. Yeah. And the Giants team, their record is not indicative of what this team is. They play from start to finish. We saw that Monday night against Tampa Bay. We saw that on the short week where they played against Philly. The Giants, without Saquon, Joe Judge has basically had to reformat, him and the Clapper have had to reformat their entire playbook because Saquon wasn't in it. But they will play you from the beginning to the end. So answer me this, please. What does Washington need to do to not have this be a one-possession game and at the end of the day, put it on the hands of Kyle Allen?
Well, I think the Giants appear to be taking a few more 3-step drop back pass plays and getting the ball out of Jones's hand faster because their line can't hold up. If you can get 2.5 seconds to protect your quarterback, chances are he's going to make a more accurate throw, but they can't do that in New York. So they've got to design these plays that gets the ball out quick. Plays that always seem to kill Washington are these slants. And, whether it's a guy from the slot or on the outside, these inside slants that come in, they never cover them well at all. But Fuller is playing at a high level. So I really believe that whoever Fuller is on, he's going to take that option away. And then they start to get light in their options. We never really cover the tight end position well here in Washington ever. But good thing is that their tight end is very inconsistent. So, there's that. But their line is very suspect. If they start taking 5 and 7 step dropbacks, it might look like week 1 when your boy Carson Wentz saw the grass a lot, to the
8 times.
8 sacks, 8 times.
Yeah, I know.
That's the thing for me. The quick hit plays, if they can limit those, make them run. What are your other options at running back? Well, let's find out. Just make them run more, and I think that's a recipe for them to get the ball back and get it over to terrific Terry, who's going to have 1,200 yards before the season's ending. And both their running backs, McKissick and Gibson, they're averaging 4.5 yards a carry, and they both have over 150 yards receiving So they're both dual threats, different kind of players, but they can both run and catch the ball out of the backfield. So it's not as if, when one's on the field, exactly what they're going to do. So they're very fortunate to have both of those guys right now who aren't exactly household names across the country.
No, very true. Very true. Mr. Turner.
Right, the guy to look out for, by the way. DC area guy. He was out last week, but he's catching a lot of underneath stuff and sneaky little gadget catches.
Fair enough. Hey, Mr. Turner, always a pleasure. It's a football world. We just live in it, sir. Best of luck to you on Sunday. We'll definitely talk soon. Have a great evening.
God bless the NFC East.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you know here on the Carousel, from time to time, we got to have some smack talking. We got to have some debate. So I have the esteemed pleasure of moderating this debate, which I'm very excited about because it features two very prominent ladies who not only know their team, but I think know each other a little well. Let's start with the visiting team, and that is the Carolina Panthers. You know who I have to bring in, Miss Jennifer Lewis. How are you, miss? How are you? Good evening.
I'm great. How are you this evening, Eric?
I'm doing great, and I so much love the skyline. Thank you so much for always having that in the background. That just makes me want to come visit Charlotte like right now because I love it.
It's a great city.
I know, but it's also cold, and I'm like, being from Philly, but I live down here now in Florida. I'm just like, I gotta bundle triple. I need a triple fat goose to come up there and hang out with y'all, but we might make something happen. Now, listen, you got a tall task this week because your Carolina Panthers with Teddy Bridgewater and no Christian McCaffrey, you are going into Arrowhead Stadium, which typically would be one of the loudest stadiums. However, because of COVID, there's not going to be that many fans in there. But you are still going up against the reigning, defending Super Bowl champions. And more importantly than that, you have to face someone who you know very well, your good friend, Miss Carrie Johnson. Ladies, good evening. We know how this debate goes. Jen, you start. You're going to get 2 minutes to talk about your team and tell Carrie why the upset is going to happen. Let me get my clock here to make sure. You know what? I might make it just go a little bit longer than 2 minutes because I love y'all both so much, and I think this is going to be a good one. I'm going to step aside out of this. Jen, I'm going to let you go first. The floor is yours.
Hey, Miss Carrie.
Hey, doll.
How are you?
Good.
Good. So I don't know if there'll be an actual upset. I don't think you guys will win by as much as everybody thinks. I will say that we're not counting Christian out just yet because we do have until 4 p.m. Saturday, and he has practiced all week long. So that's good. What is a little disconcerting is I know that Bridgewater was out earlier in the week with a neck injury from last week's melee. So I'm a little concerned about that because, well, I won't go there because I love my team. But but yeah, I'm a little concerned because we also have Christian Hurts who's out. But on the plus side, we do have the potential for Christian McCaffrey to come back along with Mike Davis. So with those two in the backfield, I think that'll be good. Brian Burns is already discussing a good way to try to attack your quarterback, who probably is the league's quarterback at this point in time. So I just think it's going to be an exciting game. I don't think it's going to be the blowout that everybody thinks it is. However, I don't know what to expect.
Okay. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. Let me just say this, because I put a lot of stake in Teddy Bridgewater. I seen what he did in Minnesota. I seen what he did in New Orleans when Drew Brees went down. And I've seen what he's been capable of doing without Christian McCaffrey this season. So I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but you just have to continually score. I think that's the biggest piece of it. And Carrie, I'm going to let you speak to it because if there's one thing your team knows how to do at any given moment, it is score.
Right. Listen, as long as they don't get in their own way, scoring is not an issue. It's when they try to do those neat hat trick plays, the ones that showcase the athleticism of our guys. When we try to step out beyond just playing football, that's when we can get in our own way. I'm also concerned that our O-line is not always protecting Patrick and giving him that pocket as long as he needs it. But that being said, the man can move and he can throw on a dime as he's moving. So, that's a nice thing. I see Bell getting a little bit more comfortable in the plays, getting in his groove a little bit. It takes a minute. It takes a minute to get into a new system, and I think that he's starting to see that, and he's going to keep pushing for it, especially wanting to get some of those touches that Clyde Edwards-Helaire has. And so he's wanting those touches. I'm supposed to tell you that Colby says that at the end of the game, Patrick will be wearing a new Panther jacket because he wanted you to know that he was going to try to throw some shade, and they were going to be owning a new, nice, sleek black Panther jacket. Right? But, and then he also said, well, besides Christian McCaffrey, is there anybody else on the team? So he was trying to throw some shade for you. But yeah, you've exactly. Eric,
I like this. So we got Miss Jennifer Lewis representing the Carolina Panthers. We've got Miss Carrie Johnson representing the Kansas City Chiefs. So, Jen, I have to ask you, because I have to correct myself, and a big thank you to our man, the original host, Mr. Alex Fleming. Teddy's not playing this week. It's PJ Walker.
Yeah.
So, and I actually, yes. So I actually had the opportunity to speak to PJ when he was in the XFL. And I've watched him play, so I know what he's capable of. But under Matt Rule, and I'll let you respond back to Carrie, what do you think PJ is going to do should he get to start this Sunday against the Super Bowl champion?
If I'm not mistaken, PJ played for Matt in college. Matt Rule has this amazing connection with his college players. That's why Robbie Anderson wanted to come down here. That's why we've got PJ, plus PJ was in the XFL, but he was looking really good. On the flip side, also, there's no game tape on PJ except from what was in the XFL. So that's always a plus for us. So I don't even know what to expect out of PJ, to be honest with you, except for the little bit that I saw out of him on Thursday night, which, passions were heightened after that melee, and that number 92 doesn't even Falcons doesn't even deserve for me to know his name. He's just but I do think that our defense is going to put a lot of stops on your offense, even though you guys do have, I think, the best historical, like this season, going back throughout the NFL, the best offense out there. However, do you think that PJ is going to be able to pull out some moves for Matt because, Teddy's neck is injured? We've also got Shaq, who just needs 22 tackles left to pass James Anderson for 7th place in franchise history for us. And he, as you know, he's our middle linebacker right now. We also need DJ Moore, just needs 4 receptions left to pass DeAngelo Williams, who's one of my favorite players. But we've got a lot of things at stake this weekend, a lot of records to break for the franchise, a couple in the NFL. So I think it's going to be a much better game than anybody anticipates, especially since we let Atlanta win last week.
Yeah, I'm still a little sore about that. I wasn't going to bring that up to you. I was just going to let that one just go under the rug. But yeah, I was not happy about that. Nah. Okay. Carrie, as always, you get the final word, being the Super Bowl champions. Carolina's coming to you. So please speak on what you and Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and of course, my coach, who I love, Andy Reid, you're welcome for him, by the way, are going to do to PJ Walker and the Carolina Panthers.
Well, I think that we have to, our offense is there. It's one of those that either you love us or you hate us, but you have to respect it because the offense has so many weapons and they gel very well. I'm going to do a shout out to our defense with Dirty Dan Sorensen. And as Colby told me that he thinks Willie Gay Jr. is going to be that rookie middle lineman, is going to have a big week this week. He's anticipating that to be his kick to shape. But you know, either we're going to be lightening up, and you guys are going to have to pull off the impossible and getting us to punt, or it's going to be a back and forth, and it's it. I think that we will come out on top, but I don't think it's one of those as the Jets landed into. The only touchdown that the Jets had was landing into Kansas City. I think it's going to be a very well played game on both sides. It's not one of those. It's a lay down. Definitely not a lay down. So the boys have to come in and they have to do their job, and they have to be there to win, wanting to win.
Ladies, I can't tell you how much fun this was. Thank you both for always being a part of the Carousel. Miss Jennifer Lewis, representing the Carolina Panthers, and of course, Miss Carrie Johnson, representing the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. And shout out to Colby. Tell him I said hello. I'm glad he took my notes to heart. I told him when you're a champion, sometimes you just got to say it with your chest, man, because you don't get that opportunity very often. But when you get it, you got to run with it. Ladies, thank you so much.
He told me, they told me I have to come with smoke this next time.
Definitely.
I'm really I'm like, I like you and I don't hate the Chiefs.
Ladies, thank you so much. Have a great evening. Carousel, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, either you're on or you're off. Be right back.
Carousel. Yeah. Carousel. Yeah. Carousel. This the carousel. On or you're off. Either you're on or you're off. Either you're on or you're off. What? Knock them out. Carousel. Yeah. Carousel. Yeah. Carousel. This the carousel. On or you're off. Either you're on or you're off. Either you're on or you're off. What? Knock them out.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Carousel. Your man Eric Wilson filling in for Mr. Alex Fleming, who is definitely watching the show because he's chiming in left and right, just giving me little tidbits of information. But I want to bring a gentleman in, and he's no stranger to the Carousel, but has a lot of knowledge. And I know he's got a lot to talk about, especially when it comes to the fact that his team did something that I just was not prepared for. What that was a starting quarterback making his debut beating up the Los Angeles Rams. Yes, I'm talking about Tua Tagovailoa, and more importantly, my man, Jerry Vistola. Jerry, look at that smile. Look at that smile, ladies and gentlemen. That is a smile of a man who has been like waiting for this moment. So, Jerry, first off, my brother, how are you? What's going on? How are you feeling after the victory that happened this past Sunday?
What a game was down there last weekend, with the liaison and everything, supporting Tua time. He came in, he was a little bit nervous, so there were some things, but our defense showed up super strong. Everything's looking nice on our defensive side now. We got Xavier Howard, Byron Jones playing the big level, so they were able to let Tua get out and get his sea legs, I guess. I'm looking forward to next week, this coming week here against Arizona.
Yeah, and now you're in Arizona. And listen, Kyler Murray, he has surprised me, but I have to tip my hat to Cliff Kingsbury, because you had Christian Kirk and you had the living legend in Larry Fitzgerald. And then, in my opinion, you go out and acquire the number one wide receiver in the NFL today for a 4th-round draft pick, which was a disgraceful act by the Houston Texans. And I'm so glad Bill O'Brien's fired, but we're not even getting into that. Now you've got DeAndre Hopkins. So speaking of your Miami defense, how do you think they're going to fare against the triple threat that is Kirk, Fitzgerald, and Hopkins?
We've got McCain, Jones, and Howard. Right now, Howard's putting up a 35.1 passer rating against him. He's only been thrown to 19 targets out of 147 snaps that he's had, and there's been 5 completions from that. No touchdowns, interceptions coming off. So we're lucky there. If they can continue to play at the high level that they did, we were getting a lot of help on special teams. it's the first time in 11 years the Dolphins have scored on offense, defense, and special teams all in one game.
Wow.
So it's that's something that's good. Got some running backs back, battered, but they're banged up for the week. Breda's out, Myles Gaskin's out. He's been the workhorse this season. So we got to step up from Patrick Laird and from Jordan Howard. We brought in Jordan Howard for what he can do. So let's see it. That's what I'm looking forward to. And with Tua, I think Tua's going to be all right, man. Obviously, he fumbled his second snap, but we were able to turn it around and then get a win out of the game. And so, our defense has been playing well. The least points scored against Miami for the whole season. So, that's a big positive there. I think we could get some points scored against Arizona. So,
and that's what I'm looking at. That's really what I'm looking at is I'm saying to myself, okay, I know what Brian Flores is capable of doing. He came from that Bill Belichick tree. This man's got the heart, the intensity. He's got the buy-in from the players. I am just looking at it as the AFC East, in my opinion, is a right now, it's Buffalo's to lose. Yeah. But Miami, with as bad as New England has played the past couple of weeks, Miami has a legitimate shot to maybe get one of those 3 wild card spots. So in your estimation, and I'm looking at your schedule right now because you've got Arizona.
Yep.
Then you've got the Chargers, Denver, the Jets, the Bengals, and Kansas City, New England, the Raiders, and Buffalo.
To get rough.
So
Kansas City, New England's always a tough game. It's rivalry. It's always a tough game against New England, no matter how bad they're doing. But then we got the Bills and the Raiders as well. And the Raiders right now are on an uptick. They're starting to look okay and starting to click pretty well together. So that may be an issue. But I think over the next 4 games, we've got a nice confidence building. A little bit of an easier, schedule going. Obviously, Herbert's new guy in town too, so he's been lighting it up pretty well. They've been putting up points, but that's where hopefully our D steps it up and maintains it and shows that they're elite and not just flash in the pan,
And that's going to be a very interesting matchup next week between the number 5 pick versus the number 6 pick.
Yeah,
and that's something that I'm excited to watch that. Because I didn't think I would see this early in the season. But let's talk about these young quarterbacks, specifically Tua. Now, you saw this young man go out there. Give me your impression of him as the game progressed on. What was going through your mind, aside from the fact that you were like, wow, we're beating the Rams, and we have a holding confusion.
That was just in itself, man. That was a good. But so obviously came out. Like I said, he had a shaky start there. Things weren't looking very nice. But they came back out. He had poise. I think that I'm pretty sure that I saw him make some adjustments in there, change some things up. Obviously, the play calling was pedestrian. There was a lot of gadget plays that Flores was trying to pull out. There was a lot of handoffs and bootlegs and it was just so I think they were trying to ease into the role, which worked out. Our defense was playing strong enough that we were able to do that. And hey, if we run time off the clock, we do it. If not, we're still holding them strong, and they're not able to do anything or move the ball. It was one of those things, and so that's where I think it was. I think I wanted to see a lot more out of him. Obviously, 102 yards, and he had 7 drop passes as well out of the I think they threw 19 and only had 8 completions or something, but 6 or 7 drop passes in the game. So that was, Preston Williams was dropping everything everywhere. He's going to get the new Stone Hands moniker from me soon.
You got one set for him and ready to go to give to him?
Oh, yeah, man. I'll send it right over.
There you go. Hey, Jerry, much love, brother. Thank you so much. As always, take your time. Let everybody know SNS Sports Cards and also where they can find you, my man.
Yeah, man. I'm all over Facebook, Jerry V. If you're watching this, you may know who I am. If not, hit me up. SNS Sports Cards. We got breaks on there, live breaks, a bunch of cards for sale. If you're interested in them, we've got them. Yeah.
Much love, brother. Hey, I'm going to have to call you because aside from football, if you got some basketball cards down there, I may have to hit you up. There's a couple guys I've been trying to find. So,
yeah, let me know, man. We'll talk soon.
All right, appreciate it, brother. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we're gonna jump from the 305 to the 702, East Coast to the West Coast. So I had to bring my man in. He's been patiently waiting all night long, but I got to get on him a little bit though, because I got to know some things. Please welcome in Las Vegas Raiders own Mr. Phil Jones. What's up, brother?
Good, man.
How you been?
Doing good.
Glad to have you here on the Carousel, brother. Thank you so much for hanging out with us all night, man. I just want to dive right into this because as I was just talking to Jerry about facing Justin Herbert, you, sir, get to go to that brand new stadium and face Justin Herbert and the Los Angeles Chargers this week. So talk to me halfway through the season. You're sitting at 4-3. You guys can still as well get a playoff spot if things go in your direction. What's going on, man?
Well, the emergence of Derek Carr playing like 2016 Derek Carr. I mean, like, if everybody knows me through Raider Nation, they know I am the main guy that is very critical of Derek Carr. I'm criticizing him every single chance. And through these 7 games, it's just like he's gotten better. He's running, he's using his legs. And that's how John Gruden's offense can succeed. When you can't find an open wide receiver, damn it, take off and run. And damn if he did against Cleveland. And I'm not putting down Cleveland because Cleveland, I mean, they were 5-2 at the time. Now they're 5-3, but you're looking at that, you're like, damn. Okay, he took care of business. He took care of it in cold weather.
He did what he was supposed to do.
And that's the thing, like with Derek Carr, if he's going to be doing this from now going on to the end of the season, the Raiders have a high chance of making the playoffs. You have a healthy Josh Jacobs now. He got his groove back last week. This new 1-2 punch with him and Devontae Booker, this is going to be something beautiful. So it's not just you're looking at just Carr, Waller, and Jacobs. This offense is now able to utilize everyone.
Yeah, and can I just say really quick, while we're talking about your Las Vegas Raiders, I, as you know, am probably one of the hardest critics on Philadelphia. And I can't believe I'm about to admit this, but I'm about to admit this. Nelson Aguilar actually looks like a wide receiver. I'm sitting here every time I watch the Raiders and I see him do something. I'm like, where was this in Philadelphia? You couldn't catch a nosebleed in the middle of January and someone punched you in the face.
So, if you watch the film and if you look at it real closely, it looked like it was Carson Wentz, bro. Because look how Carson Wentz is having this problem with his other receivers.
I will never say that, Phil.
It's time to say it. It's time to say it. Because first off, I'm mad you took my boy Jalen Hurts. I wanted him to be under Derek Carr, but it is what it is. But I'm going to say this. The one thing I've been concerned about is the Raiders' defense, especially going up against Herbert. But I've noticed since John Gruden has really stuck his foot down on his defense with Paul Gunther, their scheme, they gotten away from it. I went back and looked at last week's game, and they went with a whole completely different scheme. And I think these guys were able to take it in better, and it wasn't too complex. So if they can run the scheme good against a rookie quarterback and make him uncomfortable, maybe we give Herbert a problem. But I know this. Chargers cannot finish. They choke in the very end. And
somehow, some way.
Season.
Yeah.
Look last week. That's why they're sitting at 2-5.
Yeah, no, you're right about that, and that was going to be great minds think alike because that is exactly where I was going to go. Is the fact that for all the accolades that we are going to give Justin Herbert, the fact of the matter is, if the game's on the line, he is not the guy you want under center. That Chargers offense is not the team you want on the field. You would much rather their defense find a way to stop whatever offensive team they're playing. But if you leave it in the hands of Justin Herbert, that rookie-itis or whatever it is seems to rear its ugly head in the last couple minutes of the game, and they wind up losing it. Not to say that he's bad, and not to say that he will not fix those problems, but right now, this moment, I am like, and I have hope. I have hope that he will find a way. But now, let's go back to you. You're in divisional play right now because you've got the Chargers, then you've got the Broncos, then you've got the Chiefs. And then you have, I mean, in my opinion, the next three after that are going to be Atlanta, Jets, and Colts before you see the Chargers again, Miami, and then you finish with Denver.
So I mean, really look at it. Raiders are they're home this Sunday. And the reason why I'm saying they're home this Sunday because I mean we own the Chargers Stadium, so but
it's a brand new stadium. Hold on now. How you gonna baptize a new stadium? This is a brand new stadium.
You know what? We did it with that what was it?
The Coliseum?
What was the stadium they were in last year?
They played at Qualcomm, the Qualcomm Stadium.
We own that stadium. What's the joint named after the ticket? Not Ticketmaster, but
I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of it.
StubHub, yeah.
Yes.
We own StubHub. Time to own this spot. Everybody, look, they did all of this. They didn't even need to move from San Diego. They did all this because they were like, we need fans. Well, you couldn't get fans in San Diego. You couldn't get fans in StubHub. And damn, we're dealing with a pandemic. Guess what? You couldn't get fans there. But you know what? Raiders can own all three stadiums. It's almost like Thanos grabbing the Infinity Stones. But right here, the Raiders, even though they are 2-5 team, the Raiders need to take them serious. And this new aggression from John Gruden, his play calling, he needs to continue this. This aggressive play calling as well on the defensive side. And with Jonathan Abrams on the back end, the Raiders got back today Damon Arnett back at practice. So there's a possibility he will play Sunday. So that's a major help in the secondary. So the Raiders starting to get all these pieces back when you're seeing all these other teams dropping like flies. So with that being said, the sky's the limit for the Raiders, but they must complete every single game they face. They cannot take anybody lightly, especially the Broncos. I have respect for them.
Okay.
Because Drew Lock, he do his little cha-cha dance and then game winner. I don't need to be sitting through there ripping my beard out.
I understand.
And the thing about it, if we pull it together, and who knows, maybe Kansas City have maybe a game where they lose. Maybe they end up getting upset against Carolina with PJ Walker on Sunday. And then we face them. There's a tiebreaker. We win the tiebreaker. If we beat them at home, there's that tiebreaker, and everybody's like, uh-oh, wait a minute, something ain't right. So it's a lot to look forward on this team. I know a lot of people want to say, well, what about Trent Brown? I mean, you're missing Trent Brown. Tom Cable, and I don't think he really gets the recognition he truly deserves. Tom Cable has done a hell of a job with this offensive line. It almost looks like what he had when he first got to Seattle. He had some moving pieces, but that O-line was still getting the job done that got them to push moving forward to the playoffs and shoot even to the Super Bowl. So that's a possibility right there. And I give you a fun fact. I hate throwing politics in there, but when there was a one-term president, the Raiders ended up going to the Super Bowl those 3 times. Just saying. Just saying.
Wow.
I'm gonna be like LeVar Ball. You gotta speak it into existence.
My man Phil Jones. Hey, brother, as always, take your time, shine, let everybody know where they can find you at, man.
Well, ladies and gents, you guys can find me on Twitter, Phil Jones NFL. You guys, if you're on Facebook, hey, all good. We all closer. Phil Jones. And I have my YouTube page for The Unfiltered Truth. You guys can catch that show if you're Raider Nation or damn, you love football. Monday nights at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. And you can catch me on Sunday mornings for The Unfiltered Truth Game Day Edition, bright and early, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific time. So you guys can find that. You guys can find me on the YouTube page, The Unfiltered Truth. Subscribe. I would really love that. Let's build this up. I'm getting more fans each and every day. People subscribe to that page. Come on down.
Phil, I love having you on the carousel, brother. This is a man
I love being on here, man.
who is truly on and damn sure ain't never off. Best of luck to you this Sunday. We gonna talk, man. Holla at your boy. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. You take care.
You too. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for your man here, Eric Wilson, Sports Arena, filling in for, as I call him, my big dog, Mr. Alex Fleming, the host of the Carousel. And as we always say, either you on or you're off. Have a good night.
Carousel. Yeah. Carousel. Yeah. Carousel. This the carousel. On or you're off. Either you're on or you're off. Either you're on or you're off. What? Knock 'em out. Carousel. Yeah. Carousel. Yeah. Carousel. This the carousel. On or you're off. Either you're on or you're off. Either you're on or you're off.